announcing myself. Hello, welcome to the Spotlight Show. I'm your host. My name is Jabez Napoleon Ogbale. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching me from. Very happy to be with you this Sunday afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. Of course, it could be Sunday night wherever you are. And obviously, thank you. We are broadcasting live to you right now from the GBKM studio in the city of Toronto, in Ontario, in the country of Canada. So thank you so much. And of course, thank you for taking so much time out of your busy schedule to be with me right now this Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, wherever you may be. And of course, if you're watching this as a recording after the live show, I want to say thank you. Why not? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, download our app on the App Store. It's called GBKM. Just download the wonderful app. It's very amazing. And of course, share and tell your friends about this program. What is this program about? We are here to discuss, you and I, how we can succeed, share information, let's discuss topics of interest that affect you and I, people of color, everyone across the globe. So thank you so much for joining us. This show is made possible by viewers like you and, of course, our sponsors. Special thanks to African Young Entrepreneur, a wonderful organization that facilitates intertrade among African entrepreneurs across 19 countries of the world, and they are expanding. Check them out, www.ayeonline.org. A man displays as well as a shelter, it's black-led, female-owned, so why not support them? www.imandisplays.org. Special thanks to Pan-African Arts, Culture and Trade Institute, Pakati, that power this show on a weekly basis. Thanks as well. And of course, Daniela Corporation is a startup that is doing amazing things, trying to disrupt the mining industry, how you and I can get access to minerals. And of course, thanks to Top Run Consulting, who makes this show possible every month. Top Run Consulting is an IT training and certification organization. They are based all over the world. If you have a friend, if you have family members interested in IT training and certification, career change, mentorship, resume writing, interview skills, whatever it may be, you're in the right place. Reach out to Top Run Consulting, www.toprun.ca. Thank you so much, guys. Today is going to be very interesting. You have a special guest today who's going to enlighten us. It's a subject matter when it comes to the topic for discussion today. And what is today's topic? Entrepreneur funding and support. And I always ask, who is an entrepreneur? We all know that an entrepreneur is someone who creates a new business, okay? And of course, that person that takes all the risk. And when that business is successful, they take all the profit as well. You can see an entrepreneur is an innovator, or someone who is considered a source of new ideas, okay? So why not? I'm going to go ahead and introduce my special guest today. And, we're having him live through our video stream virtually. And my guest today is Ryan O'Neill Knight. Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
Yes, sir. I'm very good. Thank you for having me on. As always, appreciate it.
It's very, see, whenever I have Ryan on the show, I'm always happy because I know I'm going to learn something new. So, Ryan, why don't you introduce yourself? It's better coming from you. Who are you? Tell the audience.
Yes. Sure. So, Ryan Knight, I'm one of the founders of ACBN, the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. And also I run my own company, a social enterprise called Detail Ignites. So we do mobile waterless car cleaning. So we come to your house or to your office, clean your car without having to use water. And they're all plant-based cleaning supplies. But what I'm most proud of with the Detail Ignites is that we work with youth in the community, even those coming out of detention or in conflict with the law, to teach them entrepreneurship. And that's really the genesis of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network too, because a lot of the youth graduating our program didn't have a Black business-focused organization to tap into. So we built it ourselves so that we can sit down with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, figure out what stage their business is in, and then help them scale it up and hopefully exit in the multi-millions, 100 millions, billion-dollar company. We want to see that happening more often in our Black community as business owners.
Wow, that's amazing, and that is something I'm very passionate about because I always tell my audience every time, generational wealth is very important, and how can you create that? Of course, through entrepreneurship, and your journey is quite an amazing one. Detailing Night and obviously the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We're going to go into, let's talk more about Afro-Caribbean Business Network. Is this for individuals or business? Just tell us more about this wonderful initiative.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely focused on business owners.
Okay.
If you're an employee, we'd love to have volunteers because a lot of times there are local service experts that, work for companies that can be great mentors, but our business services are directed to owners of businesses in our community and specifically African heritage and Caribbean. So what we do, and it's interesting, I always get asked like, what are we working on? So I actually wrote it down this time.
Nice.
So I'll actually run through it, and then you can ask me deeper questions about either one.
All
So
right, go on.
we just finished up our Legacy Symposium. So that's our annual event where we do, this time we did 16 topics. So typically it's a full day of just learning from local experts. We had 2 days this time. And I feel like that's where we dig deeper into how to support business owners. And then they can use those videos at any time during the year. We also launched our microloan fund in partnership with Alterna Savings and Empowered Frex, also with SETSI and Dream Legacy Foundation. So that allows us to issue loans to our members between 500 to 2,500, and then also the partnership with Alternative Savings allows us to go up to 25,000. So if you're looking for that initial capital to get your business off the ground or even to gain some momentum, we now have the ability to one, accept applications, assess them ourselves, approve them, and then send you to the bank just to get the money instead of sending you to the bank to try and figure out how to get the loan. We also launched a research project with Sheridan College. So we're digging deeper into the different barriers that Black entrepreneurs face when they're on their journey of entrepreneurship so that we can figure out how to create curriculum that would prepare Black entrepreneurs better for this landscape. And really, I always consider it like a battlefield. And a lot of times, we as entrepreneurs, and especially of the we say Black entrepreneurs are facing things on the battlefield that you're not prepared for. And yes, you can always hear about systematic racism, but until you are actually experiencing it and going into a bank and being treated a certain way, or just people not thinking you're the owner of the business, how that affects you is something that nobody really prepares you for. So we want to create that type of curriculum that supports our entrepreneurs on their journey.
Wow.
The next one is the marketing agency. So we found two trends. We did a survey of our network. We have about 3,000, actually, we're close to 3,400 people in our database that have come to our events and we've engaged with. So we did a survey back in 2019 and we realized entrepreneurs struggle with access to capital and marketing and sales. So we put together a proposal to create a social enterprise that would be a marketing agency for our community. So now we have the microloan program to help with capital and the marketing agency to help with people putting together their marketing strategy and also executing. And so for our youth, we did start a youth entrepreneurship drop-in. So every Thursday at 5:30 for an hour, youth in the community that are either thinking of their business or already operating a business can come in, ask questions. We have myself and other facilitators that mentor the youth, answer questions. And we're actually going to be doing a focus group to find out from younger entrepreneurs, what exactly do you need? And it ties a bit into the research that we're doing, but it also gives them a chance to really design their own programs. And we've seen when they design it, it's a lot more effective. So that's going to be coming up shortly.
Wow.
And we're halfway through. So if you want to ask questions, let me know, or do you want me to go through the whole list?
No, no, no. No. Now that you brought that up, that's very interesting because this, I'll call them services that ACBN renders is very, very important. Look at access to the loans, for instance. You pre-qualify them and they actually go to the bank to get funded, okay, which is very, very good. And you have the curriculum for business and etc. Let me ask you this question. So all these products and services, is it only for Black and Caribbean businesses based in Canada, or people can access it from other parts of the world?
Well, the beautiful thing, and it's interesting to call the COVID pandemic beautiful, but it really strengthened our virtual muscles. So now all of our programming is done virtually. So we're able to work with entrepreneurs in the Caribbean, work with entrepreneurs in Africa, and work with entrepreneurs right across Canada and into the US. And really, so our reach is unlimited. And now, because we've built such strong programming, an entrepreneur that's in Africa looking to do business in Canada, we're able to execute that a lot easier than before, where we weren't really using like the virtual tools as effectively as we could. So now we're really able to, like, we have no reservations about getting a call from Nigeria and them saying like, "Hey, I want to export goods to Canada. What's the first step?" And we can
Okay.
plug them right into service providers that help with that.
Oh, okay, and this is huge. So for people listening out there, some may get access to this, the recordings after the show, and they're wondering, how can I get hold of these services? Is it just going to your website, or are there steps involved?
Yeah, that's the best first step. Our website, acbncanada.com, has a business needs assessment form.
Okay.
So even before you become a member, you fill out this form. Even before you join our mailing list, we have you fill out this form,
Nice.
because when you fill out the form, it allows us to understand what exactly in your business, first, what stage you're in, and then second, what support you need. So
Oh, okay.
right as soon as you finish the form, you'll get an email based on your answers that gives you those first supports. And then that also triggers a phone call with one of our business support coaches. So we'll talk with you 15, 30 minutes, figure out like deeper into what you really need. A lot of times an entrepreneur might think, let's say they need 10,000, but they also need somebody to do the bookkeeping, somebody to help them with
Oh,
hiring,
okay.
somebody to help them put together their go-to-market strategy for a new product, somebody to help them with their supply chain and the bottlenecks that are in their own supply chain they're not really thinking of, but our questions will kind of pull that out, and then we can point them in the right direction.
Wow, this is amazing, because I mean, for a lot of people who started out in businesses, never had the access to this kind of services that you render. So this is more like, for anyone out there who's listening right now, this is like a huge plus to them, because it's more like having a mentor who actually guides you through the entire process. Okay, and you're
Well,
not
and
only
that's
available to
listen, yeah.
Canadians, but you're available to everyone across the world. So if you're listening now from Kenya, from Barbados, from Aruba,
Absolutely,
Morocco,
please reach out. Yes.
exactly, reach out. Okay, why don't you let me let you finish and tell us the other services before we go to the next segment.
All right. So a lot of this is going to be housed within our Black Business Development Hub.
Okay,
So in partnership with Dream Legacy Foundation, which was started by Isaac Olawalafe, that started the Dream Realty and Dreammaker suite of businesses. He actually built a physical building. Initially, it was going to be a boutique hotel.
okay,
Now it's going to be multi-purpose. So we're able to have organizations use it as headquarters. It has an event space, it has a commercial kitchen, and shout out to the Gospel Cafe that became our first tenant. So running the restaurant out of the kitchen there. So this space is what all those projects that we're working on is going to be housed under. And that's where we want to work with the other Black focused business organizations so that we can use it as headquarters. So anything happening with economic development in the Black community, we can now have our own, I keep calling it headquarters. Like, this is where you can come to find all the supports that we talked about and all the different like organizations that can support you in different ways. And so that kind of encompasses all the projects. And then like, I guess my personal projects, I work a lot with the community in helping with Black Boys Code. So making sure that young boys in our community understand technology. We're going into this fourth industrial revolution, and we'll be left behind. It'll be, and I always use this analogy with the boys in our class. It's like you're going to be riding a horse and buggy when people are driving cars. Like, that's how fast technology is moving.
that's right.
And if you're still in your horse and buggy type tech, and they've gone left you with quantum computing or whatever is going to be the next thing, nano computing, you never know. We have to be ahead of that and comfortable with all the coding languages and comfortable with technology. So we're ahead of the trend.
Yes.
And one piece that I'm really happy about is being part of First Fridays. So shout out to Warren Salmon. I run the Brampton chapter and
All
part of
right.
Peel. So making sure that entrepreneurs have a place to network. We do it the first Friday of every month. It's been virtual. So again, unlimited reach anywhere in the world. If you want to tune in on that first Friday, we're able to talk about business and different topics in the community. And when we talked about economic development and having the Black Business Development Hub, ACBN's also on the steering committee for the Pan African Credit Union to make sure that the infrastructure that's needed in the community, we are building ourselves, trusting the different types of banks or existing financial institutions to really cater to the Black community, I feel is a path of most resistance. If we're able to build our own infrastructure and build our own financial institutions, we're going to create a lot more successful Black entrepreneurs a lot faster. So I'm happy to be part of that program. And digging deeper, we have our, well, I'll touch on kind of the grant writing and the
No,
procurement
let's wait.
after.
Let's hold off
Yeah,
on the grant writing first. I just
yeah.
have a few questions. You talk about the Black Business Development Hub. You talk about the first Fridays. Are these all part of the package that ACBN provides, or these are all standalone, separate?
Well, that's the beauty. Everything that we're connected to, as soon as you get engaged with our network, you are now part of it. So
Oh.
if you become a member, you have access to the Black Business Development Hub. When you become a member, even if you just join our newsletter, then you get informed about First Fridays and Black Boys Code and different things that are happening in the community to not just support your business, but to also support your children and get them comfortable with entrepreneurship and getting them ready to be business owners and not just employees. And that's another thing that we find a lot is us trying to fit our square peg as a community into society's round holes. And we always say, oh, we just need to get more jobs. We just need to break through the glass ceiling. We're always kind of begging to be accepted in the corporate world, for example. When if we built our own CIBC or TD or built our own KPMG or PwC, now we'd be hiring within our community more often, and that glass ceiling doesn't become it's no longer relevant because the entire culture is built around diversity and inclusion. Right now, we're trying to force other organizations to understand anti-Black racism, to understand diversity and inclusion, understand why they need diversity on their board. Where if we built it ourselves, it's baked in, so we don't have to start the conversation off on, yeah, it'd be great if you let us in. When we build it ourselves, we're already in, and now we can focus on just growing and really strengthening our economic development. And I always call that shifting from defense to offense.
Yeah.
When we're
No.
in other people's houses, we're on defense. We're always figuring, okay, I don't want to disrupt anything. But when we're in our own house, you're on offense. You control the scenario, you control how you're executing what you need to do, and you're looking for opportunities. That's the way that we need to move through the world.
No, and I agree with that because I mean I know there was a session you had recently whereby you were speaking about how entrepreneurship can actually address generational wealth gap for Black families, and I see this as a pathway. So from your experience, because you have so many products and services, so has there been patronage? Do you see a lot of people of African descent taking advantage of this product, or what are there challenges? Are there what has been your experience?
I would say because we named it the Afro-Caribbean Business Network, initially when people see our name, they feel like, oh, it's just a Caribbean thing. So that's where I've kind of put it on myself to engage more with the African community, the different organizations that focus on the different countries there in the diaspora or on the continent. And again, being connected with KP, oh my gosh, GBKM, so that we can touch base with Ken and his team to get introduced and be on these platforms so that people from Africa understand that we are here to support them as well. And it's not just a Caribbean thing. And we'll probably change our name to African Caribbean just so we're very clear. But yeah, I would say but the uptake is still good because, hey, more people from different communities are coming to our sessions. We're able to support. They're not seeing any barrier just because even within the Caribbean, if you're from different islands, typically the stereotype is that we can't work together. I feel like our organization is definitely changing that to a positive stereotype that we do work together and we're getting really good at it.
This is amazing. And Ryan, one thing I noticed about you is that you're also what we call enterprise coach and a grant writer. And I want us to touch on that. But before we do that, we're going to go on a quick break, guys, because this has been so interesting, and I hope you're benefiting so much information as I have based on all this, info that Ryan has provided us. We're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about grants. Now we talk about some of the support that is available for entrepreneurs all over the world. Okay. Now we're going to talk about some of the fundings and grants and how you can access some of these these grants and loans, etc. But just sit back, relax. Let's go on a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go straight into that.
My name is Carol, and I'm currently a project coordinator. I took the project management course. I learned a number of things, one of which was interview skills. I learned about the Agile framework and how that's very different from the waterfall model of project management.
At Top Run Consulting, the key unique area that we try to focus on is not to just impart certification knowledge, but the application of real-world tools.
Back in June 2017, I did the business analysis course at Top Run. I learned the basic and advanced skills and tools to be successful in business analysis field.
Hi, it's Andrea Barrett, and I'm the host of a brand new show, 360 Wellness, right here on the GBKM network. Join us Tuesday, April 27th at 7 p.m. Whether you're a stay-at-home parent, a senior, a student, a working professional, or an entrepreneur, join us for information, tips, and strategies that will keep you well and get you well. Join us live at www.gbkm.tv or download our app, GBKM, on iOS or Android. 360 Wellness. Eat well.
All right, welcome back, and you're still on the Spotlight Show. I'm your host, Jabez Napoleon Ogbole, and we've been talking about entrepreneurship ever since, talking about, support for entrepreneurs, and we're talking about, access to funds for entrepreneurs as well. My special guest on the show, Mr. Ryan O'Neill Knight, has been so gracious and providing so much information, guys, and this information, trust me, it's very, very, very vital for our community this time, and I'm very, very happy that Ryan, for once, we have been able to see effort towards helping the black communities, home and abroad. And that's why I'm very grateful for this. Before I went on break, we're going to talk about grants and in some of the access to some of the loans that's available. But before we go there, you made mention of some of the, you made mention about the Black Business Development Hub and also the Black Boy Code. Is that the right word?
Yes, Black Boys Code. Yes.
Black Boy Code, okay. So now the Entrepreneurship Hub, the way I understand it is a physical building. Anyone can come there, rent a space, okay, or lease a space. However, the opportunity is that there's so many other businesses within that network and so many other products and services that your organization render that those tenants can benefit from. Is that the case?
Yes, 100%. Awesome. And that's where the organizations that would be housed within the building would be like some of those support organizations. So even having like CPAs, type accountants, lawyers, HR professionals in the space so that when entrepreneurs have their offices, they have direct access to those supports. And again, based on the different projects that we're working on, as soon as you've engaged with ACBN or the Black Business Development Hub, you're now plugged into all the different supports within the ecosystem.
Wow, this is huge because I see myself jumping on that bandwagon easily.
Yes, absolutely.
This is nice. So okay, so the Black Boys Code, is it open to adults or is there a specific age group?
So it is specific to boys 8 to 17.
Okay.
But the next couple months, I was like thinking to pilot fathers and sons coding sessions.
Okay.
Because even for myself, I'm leading and like the chapter leader, but I'm learning and I'm realizing that there's a lot of my colleagues that could also learn at the same time. So we did want to test out having fathers be part of the learning with their sons and see the uptake on that. But we're always looking for Black male role models, even if you're not code savvy or tech savvy, to be one of the mentors. And also if you are tech savvy, please sign up to be an instructor. Reach out to me. You can always email me at ryan.knight@acbncanada.com if you're interested in supporting a couple Saturdays a month and supporting our boys as they're learning code and getting comfortable with technology.
And no, this is nice, and I'm very, very grateful. No, honestly, Ryan, because recently, because I'm in the technology space as well. I don't code, okay? So we design software, okay, and we manage projects, IT projects. But what I realize is that there's a big gap between, subject matter experts in the technology space and how we don't see a lot of Africans, people of color in this space, And kudos to our Asian brothers, because we know that the Asians are heavily involved in software coding, etc. So this is very, very important. So because what I want to do as well in Africa is reach out to a couple of people who are doing STEM now, science, technology, mathematics, etc., to empower our youths, for them. Because in the next 10 years is a decade. So in 20 years, that is 2 decades. So a child that's born today, in 20 years' time, he or she's already an adult. And this is the more reason we need to equip our kids with this skill set. Because technology is the future. We use technology to solve a whole lot of problems, whether I like it or not. So we might as well start to learn the foundation and be able to become innovative. So for some of the people watching us right now from North Africa, East Africa, the Caribbean, South America, how can their kids participate? Is there virtual opportunities?
Because right now it is virtual. So I do know in April, I forget the exact date, but there'll be 2 Saturdays that we're doing our next sessions. And again, because typically it's broken up by different chapters, but that's when it was really in person. So now that it's virtual, we definitely want to open it up. And again, we can really have unlimited participants as long as we have enough support and enough mentors to catch when boys aren't like keeping up, so that we can do the breakout sessions and then get them support. Because the more that are in the room, the more you want to make sure that everybody's following along. But yeah, definitely it's open.
Awesome. So I know, Ryan, you're also a grant writer and a social coach. So why don't we go into that? I want to ask you the question about what sort of services you render with regards to such.
Yeah, the main thing with the social enterprise coaching, I love working with entrepreneurs that have that triple bottom line. So they're not just worried about making as much profit as possible, but they do care about their planet and they are working for our people. So having that community impact is important. And now the government is really shifting a lot of funding towards these social enterprises. There's a few grant opportunities that I always tell entrepreneurs about, even if they're not a social enterprise yet, because they should start thinking in that lens, say, okay, I have this service, but what more can I do to support the community? So that's where I do a lot of the coaching. And then entrepreneurs have a difficult time finding grants. So typically you want to be able to find a grant before taking on debt, but I'm usually working with them to find out what grants are available and then how to get the application done. Because even if you get the email about a grant opportunity and it's your first time writing a grant, a lot of times you'll get stuck and then you just won't get it in. So you didn't even give yourself the chance to be declined. Like you weren't even in the game just because you got stuck with your grant. So a lot of the sessions that we do is to help entrepreneurs get across the finish line. And then if by chance it is declined, we can figure out why and make that next application better. But if we don't even get the application in, it's a lose-lose without even the game. Before the game started, we've already lost.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I mean, a lot of people love grant, but we know that to build a business empire, you also require access to loans. And one thing I noticed is the black community, they're always scared of loans. I don't know why. So tell me, why do you think a lot of entrepreneurs do not want to access loans? They rather use their personal savings, support from friends and family? Because honestly speaking, every major business out there, they got their boost through business loans. So do you see a lot of black businesses not, tapping into these loan schemes?
And it's really the difference between linear growth, I'll say linear growth, and like exponential growth.
Okay.
And any company, just exactly like you said, any company that you've seen that has had exponential growth had an injection of capital. There's never been a company that just bootstrapped and used their credit card to find exponential growth. And even if they got exponential growth with bootstrapping, to sustain it, they needed an injection of capital. So you'll see them going through the series of funding rounds or going IPO to have to keep revenue coming in or capital coming in to sustain this really exponential growth. And I mean, we can go down a couple paths on why the Black community is so hesitant with debt and taking on loans. I mean, we can go deeper into the church where you talk about, oh, it's like a sin to take a loan or to pay interest, whichever book you're reading. And then you can go with just your parents and talking about, the root of all evil is money. Don't focus on money. Don't take debt from anybody. Yet, when we look at how the people on offense use capital, instead of taking your own savings, if you have $10,000, instead of we would take our $10,000 and invest it into our business, and then it's do or die. Like regardless, if your business does not succeed, you have lost all your savings, possibly you've lost your house, you've bet it all. But another person from a different culture, instead of using their 10,000, would go get a loan for 10,000. And then they invest that into their corporation, they run the business. And hey, if there's a shortfall 1 month because the business isn't operating at like as best it could, they have a bit of their savings to now pay that 1 month loan and then continue to execute their business. And then if it does fail, they bankrupt the company, put it to the side, they still have their 10,000, and now they go off and get another loan to start another business. And I've seen this with my own eyes, how they use the system completely different than we do. So, I mean, I don't know how to really fix the mindset of it, except to show through my own example. I've taken on loans. We've been able to pay them back and grow the company, and we're taking on more capital, and we're shifting to investment capital and growing the company, and then becoming that example to say it wasn't just grants that helped us grow. We took loans, we created a plan that helped us pay back the loan and grow the company, and now we're ready to take on more capital.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Ryan, because honestly, I personally, when I run businesses, even sometimes my personal affairs, I like to use the bank loans, honestly speaking, because like you said, why put my savings at risk? Because at the end of the day, the loan, when I assess a loan, so these are some people who are very skeptical. When I assess a loan, I'm not assessing the loan because I have the means to. It's because I have a need that I need to solve with that particular loan. So I have so much faith in my product or service that if I use this loan, I can pay back. But if the worst case happens, so be it. Exactly, because I still have my savings to myself, and the loan, for the purpose I took it for, if it works or it doesn't work, at least I still have my savings and I can still move on to the next phase of my life. What do you think about that?
And that's the difference, where I've seen the two scenarios where a person will take all their savings and invest into a business, and then if the business doesn't work, they're homeless. They literally close up shop and have to find a way to get another job and start all over again. Where that same another person in a similar scenario, instead of touching their savings, they go get the loan and then they operate with that. And hey, win or lose, you still have your savings in your account. So you feel like you actually have less stress because you know you have a safety net, which is your savings. When you bet the farm and mortgage your house and take all your savings and max all your credit cards, you're like digging yourself so much further behind, and you're in business. Like, you could start at the same time, but you've actually disadvantaged yourself against your competition because now you're in debt and you have no savings.
Exactly. Thank you so much,
You're
Ryan.
in debt
That's
to yourself, you could call it.
that is very enlightening. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about, what are those other pathways to loans and grants that you have for us?
Well, the main piece is understanding how to research what grants are out there, then how to see if they match what you're trying to do with your business, and then writing the grant and doing the follow-up after you submit. So those are the 4 pieces that my company covers for anybody that's looking for grant writing help. And the way we structured it is, a lot of times you'll pour in money to a grant writer, and if they're not successful, you've lost your money. So we actually work off a success fee rate. So it's 5% of the successful grant, and then only up to a maximum of 5,000. So if we get you $1 million grant, you're only paying the 5,000 after it's successful. And we do take a deposit. The deposit works out to about $1,500. And after 12 months of us working for you, at minimum, you would get 2 grants written. And if none of them are successful, you get your deposit back. And hey, we can start over again, or I can recommend you to another grant writer that I found that's better than us. But I feel like we're one of the best, and we take the time to make sure anything that's out there you know of, we get that application in. And if it's not successful, we figure out why and write it again. So over 12 months, you have a full grant writing team by your side without having to pay 5 people a full-time salary.
No, that's very good. And if I may ask, for the business owners that want to use your service, do they need to come and say, oh, have identified these loans and these grants, or are you able to look at what they do, the service that they render, their customer base, and then recommend loans and grants for them?
Yes, so both. So if they see one that matches what they're trying to get done or matches what they want to go for, they can bring that and say, hey, I saw this, I want to apply for it. And then we would work with them, but also still research and see what else is available. Or they could come cold, know that they need money for their business, they're hoping to get grants for it, and we can figure out, are there grants available that match that business operation, and then go from there.
Awesome. So for those that may be watching right now, you know, a lot of people of, people of color, people of African descent have so much amazing ideas. They don't even know how to monetize it. And they have cold field. Why I'm bringing this, because I know you're a serial entrepreneur. You're not just an entrepreneur. Your daughter and your wife is an entrepreneur, which we're going to get to very soon. So someone is watching right now or see this recording like, oh, yes, I don't know how to do this. I'm so comfortable with my 9 to 5, but I know that this service or this product will really, really solve a problem or meet a lot of people's needs. What's your advice to them? How can they start?
Well, a big piece is when you have the idea, plug yourself into a better environment. I call it like a better business ecosystem. So when you reach out to ACBN, even if you just have an idea, we then create that support environment around you that wants to see you win. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we have an idea, you tell your wife or you tell your parents, and they're not always 100%, they don't always believe in the idea 100%. And a lot of times it takes you getting that like partner or person that you can sell the vision to that becomes your business partner and you to work on it. Your own personal network, especially if they're employees, typically view entrepreneurship as very risky. And I know my mom, she still wants me to go get a government job and be safe and comfortable, where I'm in this, to her, very risky environment. And it's like, nothing stable, it's up and down. But I thrive in this environment and I don't work well as a salaried employee at the city. So that's where the difference between the people you talk to about your idea, are they going to be the most supportive? Can they even help? Because a lot of times if you're talking to an employee that's never run a business before, regardless of how you're related, they can't really help your business except to point you to somebody else that has run a business and then help them mentor you. Yeah. So that's where get the right ecosystem around you. And for ACBN, we work with the Black Chamber of Commerce, the Black Business Professional Association, different organizations such as SETSI and Quirfica that have created an ecosystem to support your business. So that idea, we know what the next step is, and then the following step, all the way to hitting your own goals that you define for yourself.
Yeah, this is true. Thank you so much, Ryan, for that. So for anybody watching right now, you heard what Ryan said. Your network is very important. Who you talk to is very important. And one thing I like about the Afro-Caribbean Business Network is it's a symbiotic relationship, because when someone comes to you with a business or an idea, their success also is your success. And if they fail, you understand, it also it's a weight on you as well. So you really want them to succeed. So which means you're putting everything into the success of these people's ideas and businesses. Is that not the case?
And that's where we almost become a bit overbearing, because exactly like you said, their success is our success. Yeah. If an entrepreneur engages with us and doesn't do well, that is a failure on our part. So everything that we can do to connect you to any resource that will help you win, anything that we have internally that we can connect you to, whether it's our microloan program, our grant writing services, the marketing agency, it's all to just surround you with success and the right pillars of like strengthening all those pillars that initially you'd have to do on your own. We want to be part of building that machine that you call your business that'll become an asset for your family and for the community.
Oh, well said. Thank you so much, Ryan. This show is 30 minutes long, and I'm having so much fun. I don't want to let you go, but we have to. But however, just, as we round up, Brian, so this is, I want to ask you this question. You're an entrepreneur, your wife has a business, your daughter has a business. Tell us, how can you achieve that? How did you make that possible?
And I would chalk it up to like ACBN, because my wife came to one of our legacy symposiums, and she always had this idea of a business, and she does Afrocentric greeting cards, and it's called Ebony Occasions. And so when she came to the symposium, she saw the type of ecosystem that existed. And she was like, well, I feel comfortable trying it, you know, and that's getting people to really take that first step is the strength of ACBN, and then helping them with all the other steps after that. And even I have my daughter's book right here. So Jazz and Dad Start a Lemonade Stand. And that comes from, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. I know that she needs spending money. She's always asking dad and mom for money to buy things. Show them how to generate their own income. And then it's a lot less stress for the parent because you're not having to work harder just to buy knickknacks and things that may not be important, but they're important to your kids. And now they have their own spending money just because you showed them how to generate their own revenue, and also showing them some of it needs to be saved and invested, and some of it you can use to spend. So me wanting to teach my daughter entrepreneurship led us to writing the book, and now it's become a great tool for just showing other parents how to teach their own kids as well.
All right, thank you so much, Ryan. That's amazing. And sorry, Ryan, we come to the end of the show. And do you have any final words for our audience just before we let you go, sir?
Well, a big piece that to watch out for, ACBN was able to help commission a report called the Black Empowerment Manifesto. April 7th, we're going to be releasing the press release. So stay tuned for that, because it really dives deeper into solutions for the Black business, or actually for the community as a whole. But the types of solutions for the Black business owner are really profound. And I'm looking forward to getting to work on those recommendations. So stay tuned for that.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ryan Knight. And thank you so much for spending time with us this Sunday afternoon. And of course, we'd like to have you once again. And we hope all the best, and we're going to connect with you very soon. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you again for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard from our special guest, Mr. Ryan Oni Knight, who is the co-founder of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network, ACBN. Please go to Google, go to their website, check them out. They have a whole lot of resources. We talk about support. So if you're looking for support, they are there to provide you support. If you're looking for access to grant, they are there. They even have grant writers and provide the service. If you want loans, it's there. People, don't be scared of loans. Loans is used to boost your business. It's like you get funds that is not yours. You use it to empower your business and yourself. You understand? You make profit and you repay it back. Okay, guys? So if you don't need it, don't go for it. Okay, guys, so I will always talk about this every week, Generational wealth is important. We're not talking about creating wealth to show off. No, because if you're successful, I'm successful, our community is successful. I can't be successful and I go to my community and I see people suffering. There's no good road. There's no water. Of course, I'll fix it. So that's what we talk about generational wealth. We don't want, we've seen stories of people who maybe their great-grandfather were so successful, the wealth gets to the second or third generation, it gets depleted, and they're back to square one. That's not what we want, because the world has really changed, and we have access to information at our fingertips with the touch of our phone. That's why they call it smartphone. You get access to information. So I hope this topic has been beneficial to you. It has really helped me a lot. Today I've got more information. Definitely, I'm going to take advantage of that. You as well. And please, if you have cold feet or you need assistance or anything, reach out to us. Send us an email, spotlight@jbkm.fm, okay? Or reach out to me on social media at JayGbeas is my Instagram handle. And of course, check us out on our website, www.gbkm.fm. See current and previous and upcoming shows as well. So I want to say thank you. And as we come to the end of the show, remember, wherever you find happiness is your home. Participate in the community events, okay? Try to give back. Try to pay it forward. Life is too short, guys. And the purpose of man, what's the purpose of man on earth? In my opinion, the purpose of man on earth is not just to come here and squander, but to make an impact, okay? There's a problem. You see a gap, try and find a solution. Complement into what others has built. Just come consume and go. No, you complement. Okay, you must always leave your footprint. Thank you so much, guys. And I'm going to see you next week, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 8 p.m. in West African time, or 8 p.m. in GMT, whatever your time zones. And of course, if you get across to this video on WhatsApp, Facebook, why? Like, share, and subscribe to our various channels. Thank you so much, and I'm going to leave you with this. Remember, you're always in the spotlight. The change you seek begins with you. Good night.
Yeah, this is Dr. Rod, the boss of all bosses, and if you don't know, then it's your losses. You're watching gbkm.tv. Yeah, this is Dr. Rod, the boss of all bosses, and if
Live well. Hi, it's Andrea Barrett, and I'm the host of a brand new show, 360 Wellness, right here on the GBKM network. Join us Tuesday, April 27th at 7 p.m. Whether you're a stay-at-home parent, a senior, a student, a working professional, or an entrepreneur, join us for information, tips, and strategies that will keep you well and get you well. Join us live at www.gbkm.tv or download our app, GBKM, on iOS or Android. 360 Wellness.